I saw an article from 247 Sports that had some quotes from a few defensive players that were complimenting Bob Shoop's work as defensive analyst, calling him a mastermind of sorts. So he's apparently brought some ideas to the table.
Yes. Did we speak about this last week?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. Probably not. Anyway, we'll get to it then. So, I have to stop myself, Mark, because I always want to say Bob Stoops. So we bring in a guy named Bob Stoops, and it's so similar, and they're both defensive guys, so it's really hard. But anyway, Coach Stoops is he's what we need as far as someone who can. Two players in particular spoke about this: light skin warrior Bubba Bowden and Amari Carter. Two of the things that he talked about with them is he sat them down and had them watch film on pro guys who are similar to their style, similar to their build and how they play. He's also watched them in his time, whether it was at Mississippi State or some of his other institutions where he's coached. He's shown them other players who were similar to how they play at the college level in this 4-2-5 attack system. So he was able to sit them down and show, hey, this is how I'm able to coach it. This is how we want to do things here moving forward. I want you to study this guy. I'm not saying you have to be this person, but look at what this scheme and this system can do for you, okay, and how other people have been successful. And if you follow this, add your own little flavor, you'll be successful in your own right. So that's really huge. And he's not necessarily playing middleman the way Coach Ed Reed is between the administration and the players, or the coaches and the players. He has his own thing. Defensive guys come to him to really get that in-depth breakdown for them as a player and how he can help fit them in this system. Because him and Coach Manny Diaz are very similar in their ways of thinking in the 4-2-5. Okay, and now you get those two mixed with Coach T-Rob's experience in the defensive backcourt. Now, although it's a little different in a 3-4 scheme, which is what he's from, you mix it. I mean, football is football. It's only so many coverages. There's only so many gaps. It's only so many schemes. All right, and for the most part, people come up with new stuff and they just call it a new name. It's the same thing that's been around. They just throw a new name on it. Everybody gets this whole up-tempo offense. It's just a 2-minute offense. That's all it is. 4-2-5. It's the nickel defense. It's kind of been around for a while. So that's where we get that. 4-1-6. It's just a dime, nothing fancy. Okay, it's basically what are you calling an end or a linebacker is what changes defense. So if you can really make it simple for young men ages 18 to 22, 23. Now, at the NFL level, they kind of complicate things, but you're talking about professionals. This is all you're going to do every day, so they can complicate it. But when you make it simple, make it plain, it's easier for these young men to be able to bring it in and then hopefully be able to regurgitate it on the football field when you are not there as a coach. That's one of the biggest hurdles that we get, is being able to get in the film room, you've written this down, you've gone through it in film. The young man is able to say all this stuff in the classroom. What happens when we go out on that practice field and now you're out there against your peers? Everyone's yelling and screaming. Can you communicate, especially defensively? Can you sit down and give a rover call or a banjo call and people are moving and running and they're making their audibles? You as a young middle linebacker, you got to make your audibles and shift and slide. Can you do all of that with the same energy and focus that you did in walkthrough, that you did in the classroom? That's where it is, getting these young men get to do that at a consistent level for 10 to 12 games.